Due to the popularity of Super Mario Bros., Nintendo would go and release Super Mario Bros. 2 in Japan on June 3rd, 1986. They took away the two-player mode, but you can select between Mario and Luigi. Luigi would actually jump slightly higher than Mario. The game introduced poison mushrooms as well as the spinies and what was it? The Beelzebubs, whatever the heck they're called. They move a little bit faster as well as some of the enemies do. Some of the sprites are a little different, but that's because it ran on the Famicom disk system. Here, from looking the same and being slightly more difficult, they thought it was not suited for United States release. When I think about that, it makes me kind of put this image in my head. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Super Mario Bros. 2 on the NES for the United States release version. Came out on October 9th, 1988. Would have been before my birthday. I would have been 5 years old at this release. And, well, it is the best video game ever. But yeah, I'm pretty fine with that. There's a lot of characters introduces in the game that, well, I'm kind of sad that you don't get to see that often. This time around, there's a whole new cast of enemies. You don't see the regular Goombas or Koopa Troopas, Hammer Brothers, Piranha Plants, but we're treated to a whole new cast of enemies. Shy Guys, Sniffits, Pokies, Flurries. I mean, is that even Sonic the Hedgehog up there? Look, they had it before Sega did. And then you got these mini bosses at the end of some stages too. That's a little different. I thought they were definitely a nice twist on the game. And then you got that other mini boss, Birdo, that shoots eggs at you. It's definitely like a mini boss in between parts of the stages of the world. And as many times as you see Nintendo let other things flow by in other games that they have to westernize from Japan, and they put this in the United States manual. He thinks he's a girl, or however you want to read that, and then Ostro and Birdo are named differently. Ostro's supposed to be that thing that the Shy Guys ride that actually looks like an ostrich. And then you got this douchebag, Wart. Like, you kill him by throwing vegetables in his mouth, of all things. You know, kids are like, oh yeah, fucking Nintendo, this is how I fucking defeat dinner my enemies, I throw my unwanted vegetables at them. Like, what the fuck? Along with the new enemies and new bosses, you have 2 additional characters to play. Not only do you get Mario and Luigi, who is now more distinguished by their height, but you also get Toad as well as Princess Toadstool. Wait, or Peach, or whatever the fuck you call her now. God damn it. Nintendo fucking your shit up all the time. But as they are also different in height and weight and strength, comes their different abilities. As to their different jump mechanisms, each character jumps slightly higher or lower than another, comparable to how they are, as well as the lift system, which it comes with pulling the plants out of the ground or anything, not exactly plants or vegetables, but pretty much whatever you got to pull out of the ground. They each have their own strength. There's also a lot of things on this game that would have been adapted to later years in games, especially like the picking up of things. Of course, that would be reintroduced into Mario Bros. 3, and it would be like a staple in the Mario Bros. Series from then on out. I think it's a really big thing that this game added. But it also wasn't Super Mario Bros. 2, why we call it the United States release. I'm way even further away from the first person who ever brought this up, of course, that how Mario Bros. 2 is Doki Doki Panic. Yeah, it's definitely something different in the series, and it sucked that it was based off of this, but this is why people call it the Black Sheep. It wasn't essentially even a Mario game. They didn't release that other one that I showed previously. They took this game and edited some stuff out and changed some of the sprites for some of the characters. The music's still the same and everything, but not essentially. If this came to the States, you would think that, I know if I looked at this, I probably wouldn't end up playing this because I would want to associate more with Mario. But when you start talking about Black Sheep of the family of the NES, like, series basically of games, they're not the only one that has the bad reputation of maybe fucking up everyone's head with the next game, comparable to as Castlevania, as you see, or well, what about the famous Legend of Zelda, going from Legend of Zelda to The Adventures of Link? Yeah, wow. People got really pissed off about that. But again, as I find out with the Mario series and Castlevania and The Legend of Zelda, I liked their second installment. When it really comes down to it, as it compares to the other two, it just stands out a little bit more. Not saying that 1 and 3 are bad games by far. When you look at this game compared to the other two, 1 is very basic, and 3, you have to be a little bit more involved. I know people might think that's better, but when you want to sit down and just hop into a game for maybe 20-some minutes and throw something else in, this is something you could probably beat in that time. Not everyone's the same. You know, I definitely am that kind of person that I throw in a game, play 15-20 minutes, and throw something else in. So if it doesn't have, save points easily obtained, that's just the kind of gamer I am. But that's what makes it, to me, the best video game ever. Super Mario Bros. 2. Hey, this is Cliff Jumper 1984, Red Rocks. Always drink one on me.